Have you ever watched a movie and you get that nagging feeling that maybe it's a sequel and you just haven't seen the initial story? You may get that feeling while watching Codenamed Emperor. It's a new Spanish drama on Netflix starring Luis Tosar. An intelligence agent tasked with incriminating a squeaky-clean politician must decide if there are still some lines he won't cross. So seriously, while watching this, I kept feeling like I was missing pieces. The story approached the characters as if I should know who they are or then have at least some sort of connection to them. The problem is, I can't find anywhere that it states that this actually is a sequel to something. Luis Tosar is the agent that we follow, as he is working a few cases simultaneously. Now, one is for an unknown and unseen entity, and the other is for his regular job, which appears to be either military or maybe an elite segment of the police. Now, it's not terribly important who he actually works for, just that he's tracking people and collecting evidence by spying on them. He's talented at what he does, and he approaches everything with a cool, detached professionalism that you would expect to see from an undercover intelligence agent. Now, his motives are unclear, other than he's instructed to do them. We get to see a bit of humanity in him as he struggles sometimes with blurring the lines between doing his duty and doing what's right. Now, in these instances, the internal conflict comes across well, and his situations are believable in the way that they influence his actions. Just about every character we meet in this, though, is a stranger, and they remain one. Tosar meets a woman working as this housekeeper, and she's probably the one that we learn the most about, simply because the dialogue just fills us in on who she is and why she's doing what she does. There's another character that's from Tosar's past, and the only reason that we know anything about her is that she blurts out some angry words, and it gives us a tiny inkling of who she is. Now, this also illustrates the type of person that Tosar's character actually is. While he may have some qualms about bending the law currently, that wasn't always the case, and he sees everybody as an asset. This dramatic thriller is an hour and 45 minutes, and it's not thrilling. Plus, I spent the majority of the time trying to figure out why I was supposed to care or even be invested in anything that was being shown. The people Tosar is surveilling are mostly kept at arm's length. Now, some we can tell just through their motives that they're bad people. Okay, so they need to be stopped. But there's zero tension there. The case that involves them isn't intriguing or even fleshed out. We just have bad people that have a bad plan to do some vague bad things. So good guys have to go stop them. Oh, jeez. It's wildly uninteresting to talk about, and then it's even less interesting to watch. Now, the other mark that Tosar is surveilling comes across as a semi-innocent person. Now, they do make some iffy decisions, but not enough to hate the character or believe that they're villainous. Plus, the circumstances that are set in motion are also highly questionable. So if we hate the mark, we also need to hate the one who set it up. Now, nothing in this film was engaging or noteworthy, other than the lack of tension and dramatic thrills. Now, when Tosar has to make decisions, he does so matter-of-factly, just as you would expect a trained agent. But there's never any impetus for us to become concerned with the outcomes of his decisions or his actions. We're just seeing someone go stoically from A to B to C, and it's just not a good watching experience. And I don't blame the acting. I like Tosar, and the other actors are doing their best with the material that they're given. And when a character breaks down or they become enraged, I believe it. The emotion that they convey is great. But because I have not been made to care about their plight or even the story in general, whatever they do is really inconsequential on an emotional level. Now, the film looks fine from a technical standpoint, but there's not really anything special about it in the way that it looks. It's not memorable, and it doesn't even have portions where I could go, ooh, that is a great technique, or wow, that was a scene that was just a standout. It's passable, and it doesn't look cheap for the most part. And by the end of this, I was bummed that I'd spent my time watching, especially because I kept holding out hope that it was all going to connect and have some element that made it a worthwhile experience. So overall, Codename Emperor is a boring and uneventful watch with characters that aren't engaging or developed in a way that makes them even slightly relatable. The story feels like I'm supposed to already be invested in a lot of the players, but never gives me a reason to do so. The moral dilemmas our main character faces could be very intriguing and impactful, but they're downplayed and convoluted in favor of including another storyline with the intent of creating tense thrills. But those are never delivered, leaving us with an uneventful and unemotional story filled with strangers. There's sex, nudity, a ton of profanity, and some violence. I give Codename Emperor 1.5 out of 5 couches. So what are you binging right now? Anything worth checking out? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.